Oh, yeah. Guess what day it is, motherfuckers? Check this out. Oop, wait a minute. My pointer was not on the thing. That's right. It is Unholy Testicle Tuesday here on Tracks of the Damned. What is going on, everybody? I want to say real quick, thank you all so much for joining us this past Sunday for the introspective history, rich history of black metal with Dale Patterson. And it was just so awesome. I know it was really early on Sunday, and you guys were so cool, and we learned so much too. But also, you know, it's kind of been one of those weeks, man, where we're all just kind of feeling some angstiness, aren't we, Hoofbeast?
Oh yeah. Well, we'll let it out tonight because we've got some shit balls to share. Smear them all over the wall.
Absolutely, man. To, you know, anything from haters to assholes to anything. It's like just been that kind of week. And this is the perfect topic, I think, for Tracks of the Damned. And to all the haters out there, we're not going to stop doing what we're doing. We're going to keep doing it the way we want to do it. And that's just the end of it. So good luck. We ain't going nowhere. All right. Welcome, Kyler, Aaron, Rebecca, Cody, Lizzie, everybody in the house tonight. Although we're missing Yabelka. I haven't seen her come in yet.
Oh, I saw her. Yeah, she's on there.
Oh, is she? Oh, there she is. I got her. Ooh, look at that.
Babylon.
Oh, Babylon. Oh, no. He just said it's moist in Thailand, even though it's the wrong show. We're not going to give a fuck tonight because we are talking about some of the worst metal bands and their albums from the 80s. And I'm telling you, we got a shit show fiesta for you. Oh, man. And don't forget, you guys out there in the attic section, definitely let us know what you think are some of the worst metal bands and metal albums from the 80s as well, because we love your feedback as well. All right, let's go ahead and start with Brother Hoofbeast, man.
All right, my first one is, this is a band, it's really hard to do, but this album sounds nothing like what they did in the early 70s. It's one of our most beloved bands, the founder of heavy metal, fucking Black Sabbath, Seventh Shit Star. If you go back
that's actually not the actual title, but I like that one better.
Yeah. Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi. So they tried to play up his guitar work in this album. But really, if you want to know what this sounds like, you could do maybe a sprinkle, like 5% Black Sabbath, and then about 47% Dokken, and then another like 48% White Snake.
It's hard to even say Black Sabbath and White Snake in the same sentence.
Yes,
you know?
Especially the fucking White Snake. The singer is trying to be Whitesnake. They have fucking love songs on this, and they fucking suck. So if you wanna listen to a real dingleberry hum in the wind, listen to Heart Like a Wheel, Stranger. Oh wait, No Stranger to Love. Now, isn't that original? Thank you, Black Sabbath. And
Ooh, and that
fucking
was 86 too,
in Danger Zone. Oh my, what a fucking shit sandwich this one is to eat. But yeah, really, to me, like right when I haven't listened to it in years, and there is a worse Black Sabbath album to me, the one that came after Dehumanizer. I forgot what it was called, but that was even fucking worse. That one's
Cross Purposes, I believe.
Yeah, it was either Cross Purposes or the one that was right after that, because that one was fucking horrible too.
Oh, Forbidden.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
From the Tony Martin era. Yes.
Yeah, that one's but yeah, 7-star. What the hell was that? The worst track to me is No Stranger to Love.
Yep, that was billed as a single.
Yeah, have your vomit bags ready, because I can't believe Tony Iommi let them do this to that band.
Well, first of all, in a interview with Tony on this, I want to say probably about 10 or so years ago, he said that this, and this is also in the Sabbath history interview that they did with the band many moons ago as well, that he said this wasn't really supposed to be Black Sabbath because there was no definitive singer. Mm-hmm. So he's like, well, I need to put a Sabbath album out to keep the Sabbath name going because of the height of metal in the 80s, that he felt like if they weren't still doing music at that time, they would lose more credibility as a metal band, because obviously metal is what ruled the 80s, and what a glorious decade it was. But there was a whole lot of fucking suckery too, and this one was a stink fest. With Glenn Hughes on vocals. That man had no fucking business sticking his taint onto this record whatsoever. He should have been singing fucking, Dionne Warwick songs at a Las Vegas fucking, nightclub for senior citizens. That's where he belonged. There was no metal in this guy. He also had the worst fucking mullet you could ever imagine. This was just not Sabbath. And then they actually tried to tour on that record. Can you believe that? They tried to tour on it, and that dude was so fucking smashed drunk, he couldn't remember half the lyrics. There's footage of this shit. So the fact that it says featuring Tony Iommi, I would have been like, no, pull my name off that shit. Call this the Black Sabbath Cantina Band record.
Yeah. Fucking awful.
But, and Eric Singer was the one playing drums on this record, who also drummed for Kiss. So what does that tell us?
The only good thing I can really say is every now and then you get a Tony Iommi lick, and the production's really good. Like the mix is really good. The guitar sounds great. The drums sound good. The bass is not existent though.
Oh yeah. And the guy that played bass for him was a guy by the name of Dave Spitz. No one's even heard of this fucking guy. Aaron says, I never thought I would hear Reapers say Dionne Warwick, laughing my ass off. Well, when it comes to the Almighty Sabbath, we're very passionate about that legacy. And when it's tarnished like this with just a horrible record, many say it's their heaviest and bluesiest. I can't necessarily say that that's even accurate. I find that to be rather strange.
I think Heart Like a Wheel is super bluesy. That song is
It
really,
is.
really bluesy.
Yes.
Like it's not metal at all.
Mm-mm. And I mean, Iommi himself says it. This is not a Sabbath record. This is he said he didn't want to do a solo record, but he also didn't want the Sabbath name to fall into obscurity because obviously there was no Ronnie James Dio and there was no Ozzy. So what can they do? He didn't want to do it as a solo record. That's why it said featuring Tony Iommi, because legit, he was the only original founding member at the time in this incarnation of the band. Babylon says Kiss really sucked during that time period. Of course, I've never been a fan of them either. Oh, just you wait, Babylon.
I am with you 1000%, Babylon. I have never been a Kiss fan. Like when the Animalize album came out, I was like in 7th or 8th grade, and I tried to listen to it, but Kiss fucking sucks too. Fucking Kyler says, I hate this album and I haven't even listened to this album. White Snake?
Dude, it's so bad. It doesn't fall into the category of like hair metal or anything like that. It's just bad. It's just not very good. But talking about Kiss, man, once they took that makeup off, and I swear, I don't know if they were just trying to hang with the hair metal movement that was going on at the time. But I mean, it was just cheesy song after cheesy song. They're not very well made. Nothing memorable. I think, honestly, at that point, they were just trying to make songs to appeal to the ladies because, believe it or not, at that time in metal, women loved metal.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys were fucking ugly as sin. Gene fucking Simmons, Paul Stanley, and that fucking hideous nose of his. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't know. Maybe it was just a power thing, or again, they were trying to keep themselves from falling into obscurity. And then they put this fucking shit salad out called Hot in the Shade. By far, in my opinion, the absolute worst Kiss album ever made. A very poor attempt at trying to stay relevant, exuberate any kind of heaviness. It was just all around a bad album. Let's see if I can pull up some of the track names here, because there's a few on there that are just so bad. And this was actually cited as one of the worst albums of the decade too. Because we were talking about some track names. Rise to It, Hide Your Heart, Prisoner of Love. I mean, just you know, it's like they've always prided themselves on the fact that they've nailed so many women in their career. And I think this album was just kind of dedicated to that, or they were trying to be that creepy old guy in the back of the bar, you know, trying to snatch up all the young ladies. That's what this was. Kyler says, I really despise Kiss, like almost everything they have done. I am with you, sir. I mean, some of their stuff in the 70s wasn't that bad. Detroit Rock City, stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, their look didn't match what they play, what they sing, nothing. There was nothing metal about this band. If it wasn't for their cheesy fucking costumes, you know, it's like a bunch of clowns showed up and was like, hey, by the way, we play metal. No, we don't. They just weren't heavy. Ace Frehley, guitar player, fucking phenomenal. I love the guy. I think he's a great guitar player. Gene Simmons is so overrated as a bass player. There's nothing phenomenal about him other than the fact that he could spit blood at the crowd and have a tongue hang down to his fucking knees. Good for you, because I mean, if I was a woman, I mean, that would be the only thing that I could to do, just short of putting a bag over my fucking head. I mean, for real. You know, what was it? Eric Carr, I think his name is, the drummer.
Yeah.
Or no, Peter Chris.
At that time, it was Eric Carr, though.
That's right. That's why I got fucked up.
Yeah.
Peter Chris, you know, he was a decent drummer, but come on. There was nothing special about what they were doing, in my opinion. And they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Get the fuck out of here. Let's see. Babylon says, greasy Jerry curl hair mullets. You are absolutely right, sir. He says, lick my tank. Whoa, come on and lick it up. Aaron says, Gene is as a sexy icon is like calling an actual turd sexy or Danzig's lazy nipple. I mean, back in those days, money talked and bullshit walked, obviously. So the fact that he had a shit ton of money is about the only reason why. Come on. Oh, no. Kiss was really nailing lady boys, Babylon said. And Kyler says, if it wasn't for the young people, would forget about them. Yep, that's for sure. That's for sure. He also says Gene did play terrible drag multiple times. Yeah, when he was rocking the guy liner and the 10 pounds of foundation makeup, when they were not doing the original Kiss makeup, he looked like he had a fake ass fucking spray on tan. Come on.
So cheesy. His hair looks like a fucking helmet.
It really does. What the fuck does
that little he looks like that little what was it called? Not the Today Show. It was a Cartoon Network show, the something show, the
regular show.
Yeah, the regular show. You know, the little Incredible Hulk guy, and he's got the fucking green helmet. That's what fucking Gene Simmons' hair looks like. It's just fucking horrendous.
Gene Simmons is Muscle Man. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, Babylon calls it hair cock helmet.
Yes.
I love it. So by far, I have to say, like I said before, worst record they could have possibly have put out in the 80s.
Fucking awful. Fucking horrendous. What a disgrace.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my second one is following up on Cody has already mentioned it.
Oh,
I'm talking about Cold Lake by Celtic Frost.
Oh my goodness.
This was one of the hugest fucking sellouts of all time.
Yes.
If you look at Celtic Frost from their Hellhammer days in 1982, 1983, and then their early Morbid Tales Celtic Frost days, that was fucking black fucking metal. Not musically speaking second wave, but first wave black metal. It was fucking dark. Fucking Tom G. Warrior was wearing fucking corpse paint way back then. And then they had trouble with Noise Records, and then somebody wanted them to cash in. So what did they do? They busted out the hairspray and the acid wash denim. And none of them are good looking, especially Tom G. Warrior. Tom G. Warrior has no upper lip at all.
No.
His lips are right underneath his nose. Fucking love him for everything outside of this fucking album, though.
Exactly. You know, we've mentioned it before because this album has popped up prior, but literally, that's what happens when a band who actually has a metal card through and through listens to the wrong advice.
Yes.
From a label, from management. Hey, if you don this look, we can make you X amount of dollars. And guess what? It didn't happen.
No, it was a huge crash and burn.
Oh, man. And if I remember correctly, I think they fired their management after that record. I remember reading something about that.
Yeah,
and
they would have had to. Yeah, this is a crippling decision to fucking put an album out like this. Absolutely crippling. So
Ugh.
here we go. I'm going to give you some tracks. Seduce Me Tonight. What the fuck? Petty Obsession. They were eagles once.
Oh, what the?
Now, let's see. What could Cherry Orchards be about?
Oh, for fuck's sake! What, a walk in the fucking park wearing your yuppie gear, and it's on a Sunday afternoon, and having a picnic basket with you.
Yeah. Fucking like it's so thinly veiled. They're talking about all the ladies they're gonna kill with their new hairspray teased hairdos.
Yes,
and then we have
yes, Aaron. He says if John Denver wrote metal, yes, definitely.
Juices Like Wine. That might be. I think that's one of the ones they released off of it. Little Velvet, Blood on Kisses, Downtown Hanoi. Oh, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
and
can only imagine.
The best is the second to last, Dance Sleazy. Really, Celtic Frost? Really? Like, their work was so fucking satanic in the beginning in the early 80s and so fucking dark. And now they're writing a song called Dance Sleazy. And then last but not least, Roses. Oh, wait, no. Roses Without Thorns. And then they did this fucking horrible cover, Mexican Radio. Oh,
seriously, they must have imported somebody that was so knee deep in the hair metal scene, a quasi expert, if you will, probably wrote all the song titles and the lyrics, because there ain't no fucking way Tom G. Warrior would have been written shit like that, unless he underwent some kind of like mind control where he just watched a bunch of fucking daytime TV or the Lifetime channel. Because how do you go from all that, like you said, all that darkness to suddenly showing yourself as pretty boys? Might as well call themselves Pretty Boy Floyd.
and he ain't pretty. I'm sorry, Tom. You are not. Tom Fleischer is his real name. I'm sorry, dude. You're not pretty at all.
And that's okay, because you didn't have to. You didn't have to, I mean, I'm sure half of the fucking black metal bands, if you took the makeup off, it wasn't about looks. It was about attitude. Nothing was attitude about this record. Nothing was dark about it.
And then we have Vanity Nemesis followed it, and that redeemed them. That's a good album. The album cover looks cheesy, like broken glass, and Tom's got his eyeliner on still, left over from Cold Lake.
Obviously. Cody says, I see how Tom looked in the pics for this album and skipped it completely. I love everything else by him, though. Exactly. At least they were smart enough to know we tried it. It was a stupid decision. Let's get back to what the fuck we were doing. Because, how many times did they probably get booed at any given show that they had to do for that tour, and just boot them off the fucking stage? Because how could you play any of those songs that you mentioned alongside of that first record in any track off of it? It would not even make fucking sense. So they must have played for an hour. They probably played the entire record of Cold Lake, and everyone was like, get the fuck off. Go bye. Play this instead.
All of their tours coming to America were like tragic. Like they were terrible tours.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure they were probably billed with bands like, Kicks and
oh God, Black and Blue.
Black and Blue. Right. Well, I mean, I got a real shit salad to follow that one up because when we're talking about bands, um, in this case, this band started out tragic, but ended up becoming one of the most prolific metal bands of all time. Yeah, if you could ever imagine any one of the members of this band uh, that would have the teased out hair, the spandex, and all the chicanery that comes along with being a hair metal band and a completely different sound, mind you. We're talking about Pantera's first fucking album, Metal Magic. This, by far, is something that I don't think anyone could even conceive. I mean, just looking at this album cover tells you that this is not good. Of course, they were on a completely different label at the time. And, well, as you know, Dimebag Darrell was heavily influenced by Ace Frehley, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that part of it. But the fact that we saw them, Phil Anselmo, people, super long hair with a big muffin top on the front of his head with, you know, the big hoop earrings and the guy liner and all that. This was not the Pantera that we know today. With songs like Ride My Rocket. I wonder what that's about. Another song, Tell Me If You Want It. This is Phil Anselmo, the guy who sings about darkness and depression, addiction, and the occult. And this is Pantera's first record. All four original members, mind you. There was nobody different at this time. It was Vinny, Dime, Rex, and Phil. It was their worst album ever. I dare you to try and listen to it. It ain't no walk, I can tell you that.
It's hard to believe that Dimebag and Vinny could allow something like this.
Vinny had lipstick on.
Yeah.
Or lip gloss, whatever you call it. It's like, but thank goodness that they quickly figured out that this was not what they should be. You had two records of the original inception of Pantera, and it definitely got so much better. And this is hilarious to me. The last track on the record is simply entitled Rock Out. So you can definitely see where the influences were very prevalent on this record, and none of them ever talk about it. And when they do, they joke about it. So, you know, like I said, take that and then take Vulgar Display of Power, put them next to each other and go, that ain't the same fucking band. No fucking way.
Good, terrible pick.
I suffered through it. I listened to it. I mean, Phil could do that old school, early, 80s glam sound. It's frightening.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Next one is a band that I loved their first two albums. I hated their third album because they sold out after their bozo singer got out of jail for killing somebody with a fucking car during drunk driving. And then they came out with
Never
this.
would have happened today.
And then they came out with this shit sickle. Girls, girls, girls.
Look at them trying to look hard.
Oh, I know.
And of course, Tommy Lee is the one trying to wear the least amount of clothing there. Literally just a thong bikini and chaps.
It looks like they're about to go on. It looks like they're about to go on Broadway for Cats. But the fucking title track, Girls, Girls, Girls. What a
Heard in every
fucking
strip club for the last, what, 30 years?
yeah. And this album has like no nuts to it
Mm,
as well. But
mm.
they're dressing up all in black for this album. Like they're the bad boys of metal. And they come up with this. Here we go. Dancing on Glass. Wild Side. Now,
Take a
Wild
trip on the
Side,
wild side.
Wild Side could have been, but they overproduced it. And this is the trend that we saw starting in about 1984, 1985,
Yes.
is bands were grossly overproduced. They took their testicles and cut them out and fed them to fucking Michael Bolton, and Michael Bolton would have eaten them 1,000%. And they also could have fed them to Babylon's Preacher. Well, but oh my gosh. Yeah, this fucking album. What other shitbag songs do they have on here? Nona, All in the Name of Something for Nothing. Oh yes, I forgot that. Oh, You're All I Need. You're All I Need. Yeah, that's really befitting of that leather and those Harley Davidsons.
Right?
You know, and that brings up another thing. Out down here in the South, we have guys that are riding Harleys or something like Harleys, big old bike, and it's got a humongous fucking stereo system. And so the bike looks like fucking tough. The bike sounds tough until they play their bromance music, this Motown soul bullshit. And they're driving around town, and this shit is loud. If we thought that boom boxes and shit were loud in the 80s, these dipshits riding around playing this pussified fucking music on a fucking Harley that's going like glung, glung, glung. It sounds real tough. And then they're playing this soul shit about how I'm going to get in your panties and, do all kinds of shit to your rear end. Like, what the fuck is going on? I had to bring that up because because Harley Davidsons came up and we're on the topic of music. What the fuck is like these guys? They sound like they've been neutered.
There's nothing manly so much about motorcycles these days, unless you're riding a crotch rocket or something to that effect. But even back then, when this record came out, anyone that was a Harley rider and they were blasting girls, 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 it was a very feeble attempt, because back then it was easy for guys to know that chicks loved the pretty boys that were in these bands.
Mm-hmm.
Motley Crue being one of them. They were super famous for it. So they're like, oh, well, shit, if I go to a Motley Crue show, I'm probably going to score. So riding around playing that like it's loud and proud and shit was just their way of trying to attract the ladies, because the ladies loved it. And we don't know why. That type of bad boy persona was not bad at all. Like, I remember the whole controversy of Vince Neil trying to call out fucking asshole Rose from Guns N' Roses, and Axl was like, "Let's go," and Vince was nowhere to be found. He was like, "I never said that." Yeah, if you're a bad boy, you're gonna put your money where your fucking mouth is. They are the epitome of suckery.
I think Vince was out having a strawberry shake and a fucking Big Mac.
I was gonna say he's probably stuck at home with a fucking case of natural light and all the fucking McDonald's cheeseburgers he can stuff in his fucking mouth. Now, here's a guy who actually had a pretty damn good career up to this point. For some reason, he thought he could step out. from a monumental act in the 80s as a bass player. From what I understand, he's actually a pretty damn decent bass player. But when he decided to go out on his own,
Oh, I know who
I
this is.
don't know how the fuck anyone thought that this was okay with songs like She's Only 17. This just has creepy, I'm little fucking closet diddler, disgusting piece of shit known as Winger. Oh man, nothing about this act. Now he was the principal bassist for Alice Cooper for a number of years. It's Alice. You had it made. You had a gig of a lifetime, in my opinion, especially in those days, to doing Winger. And his first name is Kip. He was definitely full of himself to name the band after his last name, but that was really the only hit that he ever had, and I don't even know why it was a hit. I can definitely tell you that in today's classic rock radio stations, when they play metal, they don't play this song at all. He's not even mentioned. With his little, always wearing his tank top with, it's like all like torn and tattered so he can show his fucking chest and all that shit. Now, tell me this is not a creepy guy album. Madeline, Hungry, 17, Time to Surrender, Poison Angel, Hanging On. This is like, I don't know if this is not a manifesto of a creep. This whole record just screams creepery. And honestly, it was the worst album that I could have ever have heard come out in 1988. This was a shit bag of a record.
I agree. It's fucking awful. And like after I came up with my list, I was looking for some more. Oh gosh, lives in.
I'm so sorry. Don't go into Nashville. Keep Rebecca at home.
He's probably a country music singer now.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Showing off his gray chest here.
Coochie rock at best. Yep, he's going to be that token guy walking around with a cowboy hat, with a button-down shirt with it all opened up so you could see whatever he's got. Ew. No. Nobody wants to see that. As I understand, he is trying to make a comeback.
Oh, Yabelka, Vince Neil.
Yup. In every stretch of the imagination. And the last track on that record is called Headed for a Heartbreak. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that one.
That means you got real close to probably, getting arrested, sir.
Yeah.
Because Papa said, "Oh, you motherfucker, you," and was coming after you.
Well, it has been so easy to pick on hair metal because hair metal was really cheesy. Hair metal had some bands that had some nuts, and then they were neutered.
Yes.
And it totally went away. Oh, Babylon. Kip's hot tub is filled with Brute cologne. Absolutely.
You damn well know it too.
If you were around in the fucking 80s, Brute cologne,
Brute
you
was
know
the
that
smell of
fucking
man
smell.
in the 80s, yes. And it was awful.
So it was really hard trying to find bands that were heavy. Like when I went through Venom, I thought, well, maybe, I'm not very familiar with the later 80s Venom, but those were okay. They were still pretty fucking heavy and still first wave of black metal, like pretty good shit. Of course, King Diamond and Merciful Fate, everything's fucking immaculate for all of the 80s. Every fucking
entire
album
80s, yes,
is amazing. Fucking amazing. So it's not going to be him. Wasp, fucking good. Like, it's not going to be Wasp. It's not going to be Death or Possessed. or Morbid Angel. Like, those were fucking good. It's not going to be fucking Slayer. It's not going to be Megadeth, because Megadeth, although not all were perfect, they were fucking decent albums at the least. It's not going to be fucking Metallica in the 80s,
Not
but it is
me.
fucking Anthrax. Anthrax fucking State of Euphoria. This is one of the most forgettable albums ever. The only song on it that is memorable is Antisocial. And they play that one almost every time. And that's a fun song when you go see them live. This fucking song, I think they just rushed through. I think somebody was cracking the whip for them to be competitive with Metallica
Oh,
and
sure.
Megadeth and Slayer, because they were putting out some of their best music at the time. And here came this shit sandwich for all of us to not
So
enjoy.
bad. So bad.
It is
Um,
so fucking unforgettable. There's no edge. Nothing is memorable except for the Antisocial song. That's it. And these guys were still invited on the Clash of the Titans tour after they put this piece of shit out. And there were a few others that were out.
Honestly, I only think that they were invited to that dance was because there were people like, Scotty Ian, and of course, Charlie Benante, that were very revered and still revered in the metal community. So, the fact that Anthrax, well, in the 90s, they kind of were making a fantastic comeback as a metal band. But you know, that record definitely feels like it was rushed. When you're in competition with a lot of those bands, record companies at the time are all trying to cash in at the same time. If Slayer had a hit record, if Wasp had a hit record, fucking Rat, anything like that, they wanted to make sure that their go-to band on their label was putting out stuff too. And if some of them were actually on the same label at the same time, I think they were all pressured to put stuff out. Unless something was like selling so fast, so hot, and just making them fucking money. They're like, you want to, get to this level, you guys better start putting out more stuff. You know what I mean? They should have stayed with that original formula that Anthrax had. And this just wasn't really an Anthrax record. There was nothing angsty about it. There was no aggression. It wasn't fun like a lot of the other records were. So I agree with Beast on this, that was very, very not memorable of an album for them whatsoever. What the fuck? Aaron says Kip Winger is probably the only man with feathered ball hairs. Oh, and he sure tried to flaunt himself like he was a pretty boy. I'll tell you what. Babylon says, Aaron, you are a legend. Aaron, his pubes probably have frosted tips. I don't even want to think about that. God damn it. He says, thank you. Coming from you is a high compliment. See, Anthrax is this particular record is so non-memorable that no one's even talking about it in the attic section. But then again, it's been mentioned before that they really kind of shit the bed early on until the 90s hit. And then they got a much, much better singer. So, oh my goodness. So there's nothing better and more see-through than a record company's attempt to, because as you know, the great 80s was a satanic panic. And it was selling, and all the kids loved it. Everyone loved the adversarial aspect of satanic bands at this time, just like today. That's why they're the cream of the crop, and we're rising and they're losing. But I don't remember what record label that these guys were on at the time, but they were kind of like the white hero band to battle the forces of darkness, and was a big hit because they knew that it was going to reach the Bible Belt big time, and that they would be appreciated as a band. To be honest with you, not exactly the worst music, but their whole shtick, first of all, Black and Yellow. There's nothing metal about black and yellow stripes. And then you come out with your debut record that looks like this. Not only did they have a crappy logo with the whole black and yellow I mean, this is just stupid. This whole album cover is stupid, which is why no true metal youth at this time was even interested in this band, but parents loved it because you can see right there, it says Isaiah 53 5, and this album is called The Yellow and Black Attack. You know, anything that is Christian, and nothing against anybody that is a Christian, but come on, man, this totally screams uncool. There is nothing cool about this, you know, and as you know, their success was bought and paid for. There was nothing cool. There was nothing metal about this band. There was no aggression. There was no struggle. There was no bringing it down that you could actually relate to this band. No, they're fucking preaching to you through the guise. I'd call them hard rock at best. Under the guise of we're in the same genre, but it's cool to, you know, just talk about God and nothing else. I mean, if you were to ever see what it looks like with the crowd at any one of their shows, it's a whole bunch of people holding Bibles and, you know, holding hands together, you know, waving back and forth. There's no smoking, there's no drinking, there's no fun. You know what I mean? This was not a good band at all. And I have to say that that's definitely one for the record books at such a very interesting time, because nobody in Hit Parader wanted to write about them. Nobody wanted to write about them in Metal Edge magazine. No. Did they ever get into Kerrang? No, they did not. Because they weren't metal. So I had to mention them.
Yep. Our composers, probably them and Petra are bands where probably more parents bought that album than kids ever actually went and paid their money for it.
You know it.
These guys fucking sucked. I remember this shit growing up. I can remember I was a captive audience on the way home because the head secretary for the principals at my high school gave me a ride because she lived right behind me. So she gave me a ride to school for my freshman year. And oh my gosh, I had to hear all her shit. She wanted me to get into fucking Stryper because of the Jesus angle. And then they would always say, but what about Petra? It all fucking sucked. It was atrociously bad and awful and cheesy, and no kids. You're right. I don't ever remember any kid wearing a Stryper shirt,
nobody did,
t-shirt, or a Petra t-shirt. This was totally manufactured, a totally canned fucking project, fucking bullshit.
And it's so funny to watch them now because they're celebrating their 40th anniversary. Who's listening to them? Third world countries that had the missionaries come and spread the word, the good word, as they say. That's the only reason. There's nobody here. The youth of today is not celebrating this band.
What's probably happening is, they have all these mega churches across America. They're probably going to these mega churches that hold like 7,000 people and showing concert footage because they've been invited out for a free concert. You get to see Stryper.
Oh sure. They're probably playing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we have a lot of funny comments.
Oh, we do. I was going to say the only places they're playing are the Jesus Fest.
Yeah.
No bar is going to want them.
Lizzie's actually contributed tonight.
Nice. Babylon says, I've never listened to Anthrax. I apologize. I couldn't tell you one tune. That's okay. That is okay.
But Babylon, really do listen to The Sound of White Noise, that album. It's really
that was a good record. Yes.
That's a really good album.
Aaron says, I knew who you were talking about just from the colors. Exactly. Because everybody, I mean, you could see it. All the spandex was black and yellow stripes, just looking like a whole bunch of yellow jackets. Babylon said Striper. Yep. That's who we're talking about. Yeah, Lizzie. Yeah. Christian space bees are super cool. I love it. Babylon says Cosmic Jesus loves black and yellow. Yeah, you remember that video from a couple weeks back. Babylon says, remember Petra was the fucking same. He knew exactly what you were talking about. Yabelka says they sucks. Babylon says paid by the blood of Cosmic Jesus and made money off it. Fucking hypocrites. Always is. Always is. Exactly. They got into Baptist Monthly. What? Canned Jesus. Holy spam. Spread the butt cheeks. God damn it. Oh, so good. Cody says throwing out crosses to play against Motley Crue, throwing pentagrams. Dude, yeah, Cody makes a very good point right there. Thank you for that. Motley Crue only donned the pentagrams because it was popular at the time and the label said, do this and you'll have them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened with the Shout at the Devil record. One of their most successful records of all time. And then Theater of Pain happened.
Fucking horrible. That was my first experience of a band totally being overproduced and selling out.
So bad.
That was the first one. I was so excited for that album, and then when I heard Smoking in the Boys' Room, the only thing that was worse than that,
in the 50s, are we?
Yeah, the only thing that was worse than that was Twisted Sister's Leader of the Pack for the Come Out and Play album. Jesus.
Woo! They checked out their metal card real fast. Fucking fast.
And they had one hell of a metal card before that. Yep. They had one hell of a metal card before that.
They did. They were at the top. They were at the top of their fucking game.
Well, speaking of Twisted Sister, we have a shitty ass liquor by Twisted Sister that came out in 1987, and it is called Love is for Suckers. So if you thought Come Out and Play was bad, Come Out and Play had two good songs, Come Out and Play, the title track, and King of Fools. Both of those are good songs on the Come Out and Play album, which followed up Stay Hungry, which was their breakout album. And Stay Hungry was before that was You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, which was a fucking excellent album. And before You Can't Stop Rock and Roll was Under the Blade, which was an excellent total metal card fucking album.
It was fire.
Those three right in a row were fucking really good albums. I fucking loved them.
Mm-hmm.
And then this came out. This album is perhaps the worst out of all of them that I brought up tonight. And I fucking love, this is the first band I ever saw in concert. When Twisted Sister opened up for Iron Maiden on the Power Slave tour. First time I ever smelled weed.
That was a banger of a tour.
And I never could fucking forget it. Yeah, so, oh my gosh, the fucking album cover, when you see this, and when you look at Twisted Sister, there ain't one of them in the band that's fucking good looking. AJ Pero, the fucking drummer, he's rest in peace. He's fucking ugly. Beast, the bass player, fucking ugly. This is the ugliest band of all time. Dee Snider, fucking ugly. AJ Pero, fucking ugly. JJ French, fucking ugly. The whole band's fucking ugly, and they came out with a sex record. So let's go and guess what this first song is about. Wake Up the Sleeping Giant. Hot Love. Hot Love is the one they released. Talking about hot love. Oh my gosh.
What exactly does this is Dee Snider, the damn near 7 feet tall fucking morbid looking drag queen, and he's talking about hot love. After 1 minute, he's talking about Captain Howdy and You're Gonna Burn in Hell, and all of those great strong fucking songs. Oh man, I didn't even listen to it, dude. Somebody showed me the album one day at school, and I was like, I saw the cover and I said, I'm not interested in this.
It gets better.
Oh,
so
sure.
The title track, Love is for Suckers. Yeah, that's fucking metal. I'm so hot for you. Oh my fucking God.
I mean, was D on his fucking like first or second divorce or something? This sounds like he's going through a midlife crisis.
Tonight, me and the boys, one bad habit, I guess that's masturbation or something. I don't know. Maybe it's getting in the way of him being productive.
Because you took the makeup off, D. Nobody wants your scary ass.
Yeah. You are all that I need.
Oh, come on.
What the fuck? And then, yeah, right. Fucking horrible. I can't believe this fucking album.
Nothing metal about it. Babylon says D is Sarah Jessica Parker in drag. Yes, sir. Nailed it all in one sentence.
Like D's been pretty good when he was fighting the PMRC and going and testifying before Congress. Mm-hmm. And even afterwards, when he did Headbangers Ball, it was good. I loved Headbangers Ball when Dee Snider ran it. And then like even recently, like he's been out on tour with Twisted Sister World in the last like 10 years ago.
Right.
And he's totally fucking metal. And he put out a really good solo album like 2 years ago too.
He did. And he also got his metal card back in one big whopper of a horror film called Strangeland. It had Soulfly on it. Actually, I think there was one of the original Slipknot songs on that record also. Or was it Pantera? I can't remember. I forget the year that it came out. But it was like the heaviest fucking bands of the time. Soulfly had just first come out, and it had Eye for an Eye on it. And it was actually playing in the film. D was covered in fucking tattoos, piercings. The whole fucking film was just amazeballs. And I was like, this is the D that I wish we could have seen 10 years ago. But they put this record out. No one thought that it was metal whatsoever. So, Aaron says, I have to say Captain Howdy, the character, was wicked as fuck. Exactly. And that's the main character in Strangeland. And I'm glad that he actually fleshed that out and got his metal card back.
That song's so fucking heavy too. Stay away from Captain Howdy.
You turn the lights out and you put those old school fucking, transistor radio headphones on. And man, you just went to another universe with that song. I loved it. This record, though, definitely a disappointment. Cody says D directed one of Motionless in White's first music videos. Did not know that. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised, but for some reason, he just can't seem to. He wants to be in the dark side, but he won't let himself show everyone. I thought there was hope when that film came out. And, come on. Guaranteed that when he does do Twisted Sister shows, they ain't singing anything off of those 2 records that came after Stay Hungry. I bet you it's everything from Stay Hungry and before.
Mm-hmm.
If he's smart.
Yep.
Aaron says catfishing plot turned on its head is a great flick. Yes. So good. So good. And, we could definitely see the evolution of where hair metal was going, or glam, because glam used to be cool, in the early days. It wasn't that bad. But, man, when you suddenly felt like you landed in Thailand and could not figure out if these were men or women, you got this band. Oop, wrong one. It's the one above it. There we go. That's right. Ricky Rocket.
Oh, my God.
Bret Michaels. C.C. DeVille, the great cocaine guitar player, and Bobby Dahl. You got fucking Poison. These 4 assholes come out looking like the worst. I don't know. There was sometimes that you just could not tell if they were actually men or not. And women flocked over this band. There was not a dude in the world that was like, oh yeah, Poison all the fucking way. Fucking rock. There was no headbanging at all. I'd say 75% of their fucking crowd were women, and that's fine. I think they engineered themselves to be that way. Now, you see, there was a band that did it better, did it harder, and was more respectable long before Poison was even fucking thought of. And Diamond Dave and Van Halen did it better, stronger, and way fucking cooler than this band could ever hope to have done it. And they didn't have to make themselves look like women in order to captivate a crowd. That's the difference. You had a band like Poison that really only appealed to women. And the only reason men would go to the shows, again, because they knew there were so many chicks there wanting to throw their bras and panties onto the stage that they would probably get lucky if they went. They weren't rocking out to Talk Dirty to Me. Look What the Cat Dragged In. Want Some, Need Some. Cry Tough.
Oh my God.
Cry Tough. And you want to call yourself a metal band. Oh, let me they should have been showing up to the show with a bunch of fucking box of Kleenex and some Sally Jesse Raphael. Here, cry your feelings out, man. Get it out. Go for it. Do you, boo? When I saw this and I seen it in they started flooding the metal magazines, Hit Parader, obviously. Rolling Stone magazine, they were everywhere, just fucking plastered, along with the other, Argonauts that were in that circle. And I'm just sitting here going, where's the strumph? Where's the power? Where's the heaviness? Do you see any heaviness in I Won't Forget You?
I won't forget you, babe. I won't forget you.
Oh
my gosh.
And their big magnus opus was Number One Bad Boy. Nobody in the world will ever convince me that this band should have ever been. Even back then, the experts, the people behind the scenes were saying, "Oh, this is the band that bridged the gap between girls that didn't like metal, but now they suddenly like metal." Just like with the whole Metallica fiasco. Justice for All to the Black Album. Suddenly, women are just all about Metallica. It's that we've seen this formula just evolving, and unfortunately, some of the best fucking Megatrons of metal have done this in one form or fashion. They've dumbed themselves down to appeal to the masses to make the money, and I'm just like, how can you look at yourself? How did Celtic Frost look at themselves in the mirror after putting that record out? And Twisted Sister, Pantera, Tony Iommi. How did any of themselves look themselves in the mirror and go, yeah, I'm proud of that record? There's no fucking way. And, you look at today where some of these bands that we've mentioned, guys, out in the Morgrot universe, where they are today and what they're doing, they're definitely not in metal. No freaking way. What was your first opinions on Poison when they hit the scene in the late 80s?
Yeah, I saw that album and I just thought they were all ladyboys. Like that was the most.
I didn't even know what a ladyboy was.
That was the most. Yeah, I didn't either. But that's what I thought they were. But
right.
Like I didn't get it. I didn't get the drag, and I did not get the this playing up this just foolish facade, and it's supposed to be metal. Like I didn't get it.
How can they call it that? That's what I'm saying. How can they call it that? There was nothing metal about it. Trying to say that, basically looking like they're a bunch of drag queens. Nothing against drag queens, but they were trying to say that they're all hard, and how could you take them seriously? Like if a burglar came along and tried to rip their lady's purse that they're out on a date with, you think they were going to go toe to toe with them? They're going to like, oh, don't hurt my makeup.
Yeah.
Don't hurt my face. That's why guys didn't dig this shit. And the ones that do are fucking lying. They have to be. Or they were the jocks in high school. They were the ones that were all about that shit because they knew they wanted to do two things: play sports, nail chicks. Right?
Yeah, this was really targeted at girls. Because the guys were listening to Slayer, they were listening to Metallica, they were listening to Megadeth, they were listening to Iron Maiden,
Ozzy.
Ozzy. It was the girls who were listening to this type of shit. That's who they were targeting.
It wasn't loud. It wasn't fast. It was danceable at best, I think, is all you really got there. And it did. It really did appeal more to women at that time. Right. I agree with Babylon. He says, must have been all the cocaine. Aaron's he says, if Poison is metal, I am the master of all buttholes. I love it. Cody says, Ricky Rocket must have grew up in Thailand. Just fucking awful. He's like, they are hard compared to yuppie suburban assholes. Dude, not even. There was nothing attitude about any of these guys. They just wanted all the drugs, all the alcohol, all the late nights, no responsibilities, an endless flow of cash. Fast cars. that is how they made themselves, give, or I should say, give them their manhood. Basically, is that they could say, oh, "I got millions of dollars in the bank account." Fuck all that shit, man. And there was a lot of other bands like this too at the time, especially
Cinderella.
Oh, yeah, Cinderella was one.
That was fucking awful. Warrant. Oh my god, fucking horrible album.
You can literally see just from the record cover that this is what Warrant was about. Rat wasn't much better.
Yeah, what was the name? Crack This? Was it Crack the Sky? No, not Crack the Sky.
Mm-mm.
It had Way Cool Jr. It came out in like 88. That fucking album is awful.
Oh my goodness.
Rat shit the bed too. Like Lay It Down was a good album.
Right.
Or a good song. I think that might have been the album, but that was a good album.
Out of the Cellar
was good. Yeah, Out of the Cellar was good. But that fucking one, oh my gosh, it was fucking awful.
And then you saw bands like Wasp kind of like go to the wayside, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Babylon says, is Tesla or Slaughter on this list? Slaughter would be on the list if we were talking about the 90s, because they didn't come till like right at 1990. It was Slaughter, Steelheart, Firehouse.
Yes, those are fucking horrendous.
It was an endless stream of one-hit wonders. That's what it was. And let's be honest, Mr. Big wasn't good either.
No, they were not good. Amazing bassist, a fucking really amazing bassist, but
totally, obviously,
like forgettable rock and roll. It's not even metal. But fucking Billy Sheehan is one of the best bassists of all time.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Damn Yankees.
Oh yeah, that was rock and roll. Fucking Ted stick up his ass sideways. Fucking Bo for bow hunting stuck up his ass sideways. That fucking piece of shit.
And then there was that one quasi metal band that was kind of hot for a minute with the lead singer. His name was he was a redhead too. Had a hit in the 80s as a pop artist, then all of a sudden grew his hair out. And of course he had like the mullet extreme going on. No, was it Eric Waite or something like that was his name?
Waite?
That might be it. And then suddenly he's in a metal band when the 90s hit because he failed as a pop artist. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of that band. You guys would probably be like, yep, I remember those assholes. It's like, man. Just hairband after hairband after hairband. It wasn't metal anymore.
Well, Mousebong says hi to everybody. She had a friend over, so she couldn't make this one, but she and I went through and came up with the list, but they're really this actually was kind of hard. Like I was trying not to pick on hair metal so much, but
me too.
Help it. Like the fucking metal bands were really trying to pioneer some good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just Anthrax shat the bed.
Yeah, but it just goes to show you some of the most prolific metal acts of the 80s. I'll tell you who else pops up on this list, and I have to say, I don't exactly disagree with them. Ozzy's Ultimate Sin in 1986 was not a banger of an album. That was his weakest effort. He didn't bring his full metal card back until Zakk Wylde joined the band in 1988 for No Rest for the Wicked. That album was fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, but that Shot in the Dark song is so fucking good.
It's not a bad one, but do you hear any other singles off the record?
No, like that album, like poor Jakey Lee, like you can't hear his fucking guitar. And this is what they fucking did to metal bands in the mid 80s. Like I that's an album I would like them to go back and remix that and pull Jakey Lee way forward in the mix.
I agree with that 1,000%.
Because
Absolutely.
that's really not that bad of an album. It's just way overproduced.
Very much so. And I'm sorry, it's a little bit poppy. It's a little too poppy of an album.
At times, yeah, it is at times.
And I think that's why it lands on a lot of people's lists for worst efforts by bigger acts of the time. And folks, there's a lot of them. Deep Purple tried to put a record out in the 80s and it tanked.
Oh,
it was so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Unholy shit, was it bad. Fucking Rainbow tried to put an album out in the 80s. No one bought that fucking record. Their name was not synonymous at all. Judas Priest put an album out called Turbo that wasn't very good.
I like that album.
Stinker.
I like that album. It is more poppy. Yeah, I like that album. So does Mouse.
Okay. And that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion.
I do like that album.
Felt that was their weaker record of the decade.
Yeah, it was the kind of least metal. Like they did kind of sell out a bit, but you can still hear the metal and the songs are pretty good on that one. Yeah, it did make lists though. I saw it like made number 3 for either Loudwire or Metal Injection. It made number fucking 3. And I disagree. Like the album cover's fucking cool too, with that fucking turbo fucking lever. And like that's a cool. I wish they would just continue to use that same artist for all of their albums.
As long as he's still alive, yeah.
Yeah, because like Defender and Screaming Vengeance, like those are really cool album covers.
Okay, yeah. I feel that, Cody. Killer of Giants off that album. Okay. It wasn't, I would say that was probably a much more digestible ballad that Ozzy could have ever have done. Because most of those a lot of his ballads are not good. That one was okay. Yeah, the only reason that Close Your Eyes Forever was even noteworthy was because Ozzy sang on it.
I really liked that fucking song. Like I went and bought the tablature. It was in Guitar World, and that's one of the first songs I learned how to play. It's the first arpeggio that I ever learned.
Not sure why we said this. Jake the Snake is a bad man.
I guess they're referring to Jakey Lee.
Oh, okay. Jake. Okay, now I get it. Yeah. One of the most underrated of all Ozzy guitarists.
Yeah, the most fucking overproduced. You couldn't hear him that well, the poor guy.
Which is really fucking weird to me because Ozzy's band, The Blizzard of Oz, has always been guitar driven. Cody says, I've met Jake the Snake. He's a cool dude. Yeah, the wrestler. Unfortunately, that's not who Babylon was referencing there. Oh, Yabelka. What about Great White?
Oh, Once Bitten, Twice Shy. That fucking album sucks. And that could be on here. But they did have some good albums, and they were kind of cheesy, but they were fucking good ballads that I liked. Like those are the ones where I would take, like in high school, mom and dad weren't home yet. And so the girlfriends came over and we went into the bedroom and I fucking put on my vinyl for fucking Great White. Save Your Love and Rock Me. Save Your Love is fucking sexy song and Rock Me is fucking sexy song as well. And the ladies fucking loved it.
Great White, you know what? The one thing I can say about them is they never billed themselves as a metal act. They were more like hard rock outlaws is about the way I would describe them. So I mean, yeah, they did show up in Hit Parader and Metal Edge, but they weren't metal, and I don't think they ever really classified themselves as metal. And they were like a bunch of Southern guys too. They didn't don the makeup. They didn't try to be glam. They didn't try to be enough's enough or LA Guns. Any of those
LA
guys.
Guns. LA Guns felt like a band that was forced on us in the 80s. Like, those guys fucking sucked.
Oh, well, you can thank Ricky Rackman from fucking Headbangers Ball for that one. He was their biggest fan.
Yeah, they fucking forced that on us. They fucking sucked.
So bad. So bad. Hey, Mouse Bong, she just appeared.
Oh, here she is. Welcome, Mouse Bong.
Oh, my goodness.
Mouse Bong, we've been talking all kinds of shit tonight.
Oh.
Pastor Pussycat. Yep.
Oh, yeah, Cody. Hated them. Hated them with a passion. Nothing metal about them. Dude, why would you even say that? We already talked about Slaughter, and now you have to say Fly to the Angels. Now I can hear it in my head, because if you were an MTV guy like we were back in the day, that shit was forced on you twice in an hour. On the hour. Every hour of programming, they would slip that fucking video in there. And it is the least... Oh my goodness, the least song we would ever want to hear. Yabelka was like, "Yep," or LA Guns. Yep, can't stand them. Nope. Mousebong says, "I'm assuming this show was made up of mostly hair metal, not on purpose. We were picking like prolific bands. We've mentioned a lot of prolific bands that were famous for having much better metal records to having a shit record. Believe me." Cody's dying. That's funny. She says, "I tried to make a list, but they were all so obvious." And it's so true. And if you guys go back into that decade and check out some of those, there's a Motorhead record that pops up on people's worst album of the 80s. It was entitled Rock and Roll. Going against the almighty Lemmy. They said that was a very lackluster record. I'm going to actually go back and check that record out, because I want to see what they're talking about. I kind of forgot about that record over the years, so I may have to revisit it. And of course, the late 80s, Iron Maiden shit the bed over and over and over again. We're talking about big bands, Fucking Candlemass had a couple of shit ones too. But that had a lot to do with like changing members and shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, whenever we do the 90s, that's going to be like, it's going to be hard to choose like 10 for the 90s, because that's when fucking grunge came in and fucking metal was going out, and it fucking sucked. Yes, Mousebong's right. Metal was just taking its form and blooming in the 80s.
Yes.
Yep.
Solidified.
Yep, you're right. That's what I was just saying. Yep, if we did 90s bad metal, the list is so easy, and Metallica will fucking lead the fucking way.
So then I guess what we're going to do next Tuesday. Because these shows are so much fun, because when we're doing the worst lists, and I mean, everybody can, like, it resonates. Like, they can remember where they were when they heard it, if they fucking puked or threw their radio across the room, or turned the TV off and stomped off to their room. I love shit like that. So I think we could do one more, most def. And that'll kick us off for the month of October. Oh, yeah. Do I have some good ideas for Spooky Month? This is going to be a lot of fun. So definitely thank you all so much for joining us tonight. It's been a blast. We love looking at this period of time because there were so many great things about the 80s when it came to metal, but damn it, there was a fuck ton of wrong shit that was in there too. And it's always good to kind of highlight that, because sometimes some of y'all, some of your favorite bands you might not have known during this period, they had some really bad fucking records. And like I said, I dare you to go and check out Pantera's first record. It might fucking, ruin your day, because there's a lot of folks that they haven't heard it, and it's bad. It's really fucking bad. But we got so much good shit coming this week. Don't forget this Thursday. It's a double Reapers Underground double shot day at 10:30 in the morning. All the way from Spain, we have the female-fronted black metal band, Erzabet, is going to be joining us in the underground. And this vocalist, she is so amazing with what she can do with her voice. Obviously, she's got the kind of like evil witch thing, but man, when she goes for a guttural, you suddenly think it's a dude. I'm telling you, it's crazy. And you can find their stuff on Spotify. So if you're able to tune in at 10:30 in the morning, please do. It will be badass. And then at night, we got the great Miss Shonda Rawlings joining us, actress Shonda Rawlings, whom I've had the pleasure of working on 2 films with her. She is fast rising in the indie horror community. She is just a pleasure. You're going to love it. And if you haven't seen some of her films, you'll find out which ones to check out. And then, of course, coming Saturday, the goddamn program. I will be live from Illinois, because I will be on set to be filming the first episode of The Red Huntress, which is very much kind of a split between Supernatural and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think you guys will really dig this one. And it's short. It's like an hour long. You know what I mean? So, again, thank you all so much. The comments have been fucking amazeballs. Oh, damn. Yabelka just hit us with one that I forgot about. Fucking
Yabelka.
That's hitting below the belt, girl. My goodness.
Fucking Sister Christian.
Oh,
I think Yabelka is Sister Christian.
No fucking way. I refuse to believe it.
No, you got to see. She sent me a picture one time of her pillowcases. They're fucking upside down pentagrams. Black metal as hell.
Just the way we like it. All right, guys. Just remember, as you're going into hump day, maybe get a hump in or 2. And while you're doing it, stay heavy.